If you're a virgin, I can understand, right? Well, then you're not left over. But if you're 35 and you've lived life and you've been through life, why should a man want you? I mean, everybody's looking at all these artists and all these stars. That's not reality. That's just one off. But at 35, I had issues at 35, so I can understand that. If you're not married at 35 or in a stable relationship, has to be something wrong with you. Otherwise, why aren't you in a relationship if you're that great?
If I'm being completely honest, my experiences with dating and relationships with women of a more advanced age haven't been particularly satisfying or desirable. Some of the dudes I know can't get enough of them. To be honest, I can't fathom why anyone would want a woman in her 30s, 40s or 50s when they can have a beautiful young woman at the height of her beauty and fertility. Some older women, however, are fantastic in the bedroom because of their years of accumulated sexual experience. To begin, it's not worth your time to strike up a conversation with most of these women. And because they've ruined their own lives when they were young, they often have a warped view of the world. They moan and groan and complain about all their problems and how miserable their lives are and how rarely they experience genuine happiness. To put it mildly, the things that older women have subjected me to throughout my life have been unbelievable. Just take a look at any middle-aged or older married man and tell me he doesn't resemble a lifeless husk. There are a few men here who appear to be counting the minutes until they can escape from their wives. Therefore, I often wonder if the young and middle-aged men I see swarming older women are bad people who just don't see the danger they're putting themselves in. My guess is that they're either fetishizing older women or are so strapped for cash that they wouldn't dream of committing to a younger woman, or all three. I think this, but I can't say it definitely. Therefore, if you are seriously dating an older lady, let's analyze why today's men feel guilty about not dating the leftover women of the past. Men are expected to be the primary caregivers for their female counterparts. It's no secret that the people in your immediate vicinity prefer women to succeed professionally at the expense of men. Furthermore, governments are already aware of the need to provide assistance to women. Student loans are evidence that even the most self-reliant women need help sometimes. These women are not subject to social stigma or punishment. This works because otherwise these women would be on the streets or even more reliant on the system. That's why 45 is the new 25. Governments have no interest in helping these people. The government is reluctant to take care of these people because the resources allocated to the welfare system and similar initiatives will be depleted rapidly. Given that there are more women than men in the United States, women of a certain age who find themselves in a position where they must rely on a man for financial support often band together in an effort to persuade him to do so. Moreover, they resort to shaming men who express interest in dating women under the age of 20 and invoking various isms and files in effort to prevent and control such men from pursuing such relationships. People tend to applaud and encourage older women who date younger men because it is assumed that the younger man will help support the older woman financially in the future if she is not independently wealthy. This is because the vast majority of women are financially illiterate. As a society, we must realize that empowering women is the ultimate goal. Loan forgiveness for students is an issue on which everyone can agree, but there is no such thing as a self-sufficient woman or a woman who doesn't rely on a man or other outside source for financial or emotional support. There is, alas. Second, advances in medicine have lengthened a woman's companionable years. We all know that nobody gives a hoot whether or not an older lady is in a committed relationship. That's because it's generally accepted that women of a certain age will not be dating anyone. After all, wives often outlive their husbands. As a result, it's understandable that males might feel pressure to kill themselves at an earlier age. Men subconsciously prefer dating younger women. This is how we get the hankering to see a young man in a relationship. Consider how frequently you hear people ask a young adult if they are dating. When someone is young and mature, they are not expected to be single. Older women can also look great, even if they paint their faces like clowns. People will always want to keep their men as long as older women can maintain a youthful appearance. As an older man, you'll be looked down upon if you go against the grain and desire the type of woman they aspire to be. Keep in mind that men and women are always vying for the same limited number of partners. It follows that if women are in a competitive environment for men, they will resort to any means necessary to attract and keep their desired partners. That's why they'll resort to humiliating men into choosing them over younger women. They are willing to resort to any means necessary to separate a man from a young woman. I wonder how often it happens that mothers steal their daughters' boyfriends. You understand what I'm getting at. Men will never feel embarrassed about dating older women as long as they can hold their own against younger women in terms of looks and confidence. Always keep in mind that older men are the primary providers in society. How would older women be cared for financially if all the single, wealthy men their age dated younger women? Who will date the so-called strong, independent women who are still divorced in the workplace, or who are fighting to remain single without putting love at the top of their list if young men will only date young women? When you get down to brass tacks, it's about two things: cash and a reliable, lifelong companion. The more men date celebrities' daughters, the less eligible men there are for the older women who are left behind. And that's due to the fact that there just aren't enough men to go around in the United States. Only a select few men will have the guts to venture into a market full of young women, and they'll need to figure out how to do so without being exposed as desperate. This is why it has been suggested that she could pass for your daughter. To want a woman who is only 22 years old is to be a pervert. You are either a metaphile or an agronomist, and if you have nothing in common with a younger woman, and the best way to shame her is to claim that she only uses you for money, as if that's what all women do, including older women, then what's the point of trying to date her? So, I'd like you to comprehend the motivations behind these criticisms leveled at you. One of the goals is preventing you from pursuing a relationship with a younger woman, while the other is ensuring that you finish the third quarter in good standing. Finally, men feel bad about not dating leftover women because they don't want other men to see that they're overvalued. The leftovers are not worth keeping as a mother or wearing as jewelry, but they are often regarded as a source of good fortune. Most of these older women have nothing to show for their lives except the emotional and financial scars from their past relationships, mental illness, itchy wounds, inability to conceive naturally, and the digging sticks they used to use as young women, too. And if men knew they were getting a raw deal, they wouldn't choose such women. Someone will surely take such women up on society's promise that they are worthy. Men who settle for leftover women usually end up with a less desirable version of that woman. To put it bluntly, you get a woman who is past her prime, while the other guys get women who are just starting out. Is it because you got the version of her that needs makeup to look decent, while the other guys got her when she was at her most natural? You get her after the woman has raised the price by the amount she needs every month to live on, whereas the other men got her where she was younger and worth more at a much lower price. And some of them already have children with other men, and depending on her age and whether or not she lives with her mother, you may need to assist. If men could see older women realistically, they would realize they are being offered a poor deal and reject their advances. The use of shame to constrain and direct male thought is therefore common. For women, it's important to realize they have no sway over a man who has no sense of shame and does whatever he pleases. Dating an older woman is frowned upon, and only self-conscious men fall into the trap. Shame tactics will keep this man on the dating plantation with no prospects for advancement as long as men care about it. Unfortunately, that is the truth. All we want is for them to see the benefits of submitting to their superiors and to realize why we've gone to such lengths to shame them. That's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. See you next time. Cheers.